And welcome back to Game Escape, here with part 2 of my review of this beast of an arcade stick, the Hori Real Arcade Pro version 4 Premium Vewlix with Kuro buttons. It's a mouthful, it's a very, very interesting product, and today I'm going to talk about the functionality and performance of the stick. So the big question with this stick, is it worth its price? This is the most expensive stick that Hori puts out. It is their top-of-the-line product, and is it really worth the price of, say, a Wii U? It is that expensive. The answer is no, for me, and I'm going to explain exactly why that is. But first, a few things to note. A couple of the positives of this stick is its compatibility. It works flawlessly with the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 as advertised. You just switch a little button on the front and you're good to go, no problems recognizing it at all. The PC performance is very, very good. It actually works with MAME, and a nice little touch was that I plugged it into the PC in PS3 mode and opened up MAME, and well, I did see the driver install. MAME actually recognized it as my old Hori stick, which had the Sanwa parts, and so I didn't have to remap the buttons. I just picked up right where I left off in MAME. That was a nice little bonus. One of the other positives of this stick is its internals. It's very, very clean on the inside. I talked about how the front cover of the stick lifts up, and you can mod it pretty easily. I did open it up, and it was just one of the nicer layouts that you could look for in a stick that you were going to mod. Now, I'm not a modder, but a lot of the times you open up electronics and everything's cluttered. This was very, very clean, and that is a bonus, although I have to say that the instruction manual does not tell you how to open it up. Basically, what you have to do is pop out the back panel where you store your USB wire, and then in the back of there are 3 screws, kind of like screws you'd find on the back of the PC. Unscrew them, pop the top off. Very easy. They tell you not to mod it, although they advertise the stick as being very, very moddable. So I think Hori just needs to say, look, if you're buying this stick, you probably know how to mod it, and go right ahead and tell you how to do it. One of the other issues, and this I think is both a positive and a negative, is that the stick, as I mentioned in part 1, was fairly heavy. I mean, it is the heaviest home arcade joystick that I've ever used. I didn't actually weigh it, but I'm guessing it would be in the 6 to 8 pound range, something like that. It just really, you can really feel it on your lap. Now, I'm a bigger guy, so that was fine for me. I didn't really mind having it on my lap, but I could imagine, if you're used to a really, really light arcade stick that you can move around and reposition easily, you may have a problem with its weight. That having been said, it works a lot better on kind of like a coffee table. Couldn't really use it like that here in the game room, but when I went out to my main entertainment area, I was able to put it on a coffee table. Has that nice sort of rubbery base, stays in place, feels really, really good playing it in that way. So what's the big issue? Why can't I wholeheartedly endorse this product? It's the performance. The Kuro buttons and the Hayabusa joystick, Hori has really, really put a lot of marketing behind them. And if you click on their website, they'll tell you that the Hayabusa joystick reduces input load by 15%, and the buttons themselves are designed to reduce wear and tear by 60%, and they're so much more accurate than any product that Hori has previously released, and yes, possibly better than Sanwa or Saimitsu. I don't really see that. I think, quite frankly, they feel a bit cheaper than their competition. It's funny, for such a heavy, well-made enclosure, the stick and the buttons actually have kind of hollow clicks to them. And now that is because the inside is fairly hollow, but they don't feel like super premium products. They don't feel as good as my much cheaper Hori stick with the Sanwa parts, which is also hollow on the inside, but somehow the clicks of the buttons and the sound of the micro switches just have a slightly higher quality. They leave a higher quality impression on you. As far as the actual gameplay, what I noticed, kind of the main difference is with the Vewlix stick, it forces you to be a little bit more deliberate. That's the easiest way I can describe the performance. Whereas with the old Sanwa sticks, I kind of felt like, there was just such an intimate connection between your hands and the stick. I could really pull off the moves with ease. And not that I couldn't with the Kuro buttons and the Hayabusa stick, but I felt like I had to be slightly more deliberate in the inputs. Both the quarter circle, half circle motions, and there was slightly more force needed for the click. Now, some people might like that because you can really, feel every stage of the motion that you're doing, and that's fine. I just kind of felt like, coming from Sanwa parts, it just was a little off-putting at first. I would have to say after I put about 12 hours onto this stick now. Once you're sort of knee-deep in Street Fighter 4 or something like that, those elements of the experience kind of fade away. And to Hori's credit, these buttons and stick, it does feel after a while, very Sanwa-like, in the sense that you're not going to constantly be like, oh, I missed a move, or, God, this feels cheap. Eventually you're just focusing on the game, the stick is responding well, so it's not a major issue. But, look at the price. For $300, I think the player has a right to say, look, I shouldn't be reminded that it's not Sanwa, and then that kind of fades away as I'm playing. I think it should be better than Sanwa. That's what they're claiming. It is really not, and I find that, I found myself saying, I think maybe I'm going to swap this stick out and swap out the buttons, and that's really not, once you spend this much money on a joystick, you shouldn't be thinking about, oh god, I can't wait to upgrade it and get this stick and these buttons out of here. I'm not going to do that right away. I'll give it a year, and I think the upgrade to all those parts would probably be another $100 at least, so I don't feel like spending that after what I spent on the stick. So in the end, where does that leave us? I think if you're interested in the Hori parts, they can be had on a much cheaper joystick. In fact, I think all of the Hori sticks now have the Kuro and Hayabusa combo, so pick one of those up. If you want a great enclosure, if you know that you're a mod person, it doesn't matter that you're going to spend $300 on the stick and put more into it, yeah, then that's fine. Go with it. I have to say that I really love the design, and I think there is something to be said for playing on this kind of replica of a Japanese arcade machine, and it is enjoyable. That's what always drew me into the product. I'm not sure that experience is worth the price that they're charging. I would have been happier to pay, say, $30 more and get a version with Sanwa. So I think it kind of finds itself in this interesting niche. Yes, it is more expensive than all of the kind of mass-produced competition, yet it is going to be significantly cheaper than some of the custom-made sticks that you can find out on the internet, and it has PS3, PS4 compatibility, which is an absolute bonus. I think the stick needed that. There are just not that many games on the PS4 at this point, not that many good fighting games, and we have Dead or Alive 5 Last Round, I think you have a Guilty Gears game, and Street Fighter 4 coming out, of course Mortal Kombat, Injustice, and all of those games. So, it's not going to be, it's not a genre that has really established itself on the PS4, so it's nice to have the PS3 compatibility. It is great to have the PC compatibility. Hori should be commended for always adding that onto their sticks. But at the end of the day, I think you can get really, really good performance for less money. And the Mad Catz offerings do have, I think, they still use the Sanwa parts. So it's kind of a bittersweet purchase for me. I do love the look. I love the kind of feel of sitting at it and using it. I just think the buttons and the stick could feel a little bit better. It's kind of like, you know, you're buying a new car, and it really is better than your old one, but not as good as it could be. It's kind of a letdown in the sense that you're thinking, oh my god, this is what they use in the Japanese arcades. I can finally have this at home, and then you feel those buttons and you move that joystick and you say, it's not bad, but it's kind of not what I had in my mind when I was fantasizing about owning this product. So anyway, that is my take on it. If you guys have it, let me know what you think, and I thank you as always for watching Game Escape. I'll be back shortly with another video.